So just placing the hands onto the back of the chair, and this is going to incorporate a little bit of work that we're going to be doing for Pilates tomorrow as well. But it's more about balance rather than leaning. We're not sort of leaning into the chair. We're keeping the chair just where it is here, and we're going to just lift up onto the toes. Now you can't see all of me right now. Might miss a bit of my head or a bit of my toes, which isn't a bad thing. And just want you to hold that position onto your toes, and take it down onto the heels. And again, lifting up. Now try not to take any weight through the back of the chair, and send it away. Good. And again, lifting up. Now as you lift up, lift the crown of the head towards the ceiling, pull the tummy in towards the spine, just tuck the tailbone under slightly, and send it away. Now if you're not happy about standing and doing this, you can sit down and just lift the heels up off the floor. Okay, so you can still continue to do this. You're still going to do calf raises, but seated, just lift the heels up. Good. And send it away. Good. Lifting up. Hold that position here. So just check down towards your feet. Just make sure they are about sit bone distance. And when I say sit bone distance, it's narrower than your hip bones. Okay, so your sit bones sit about here in the pelvis. Okay, so we're focusing on trying to keep the feet underneath those sit bones. Okay, so we're still staying on the toes. Hold this position here, and just want you to pedal through the feet. So just feeling a little bit of a stretch. Now again, if you want to do this seated, you can do this seated and just alternate heel lifts, okay? Again, try not to take any weight through the chair. The chair's just there for balance more than anything else. Good, okay. So we're just warming up. So heel pedals are really good to warm up the whole body. So even if you're, if you want to do a few stretches and you feel I'm feeling a bit cold or a little bit stiff, then even just seated or standing, just heel pedaling really helps to circulate the blood around the body and get yourselves warmed up, okay? So really push into those toes. Again, try not to take any weight through the chair or the back of the chair, and just relax the shoulders. Good. Lift up onto those toes again and just press down again. We're just going to do 3 more lifting up and down, and again lifting up and down, and again lift and down, and 1 more. Good. Hold it here. Now we're going to stretch out that calf now. So we're going to step. I'm just going to move my chair forward so you can see. So we're going to step one leg back. Take it back and make sure it's still in line with your sit bone. So don't take it directly behind that front leg, and just press the heel into the floor. Now as you press the heel into the floor, again taking a little bit of weight, just a tiny bit, just for balance, bend that front knee and make sure that you can still see your toes. Press that heel into the floor. Now make sure, just check your feet are parallel. You're doing a calf stretch. So again, if you're seated and you can't do this standing, okay, you're sitting on the chair and you're going to place the heel into the floor and just pull the toe up towards the knee, okay? So standing calf stretch is as this. And what I want you to do now, keeping both heels on the floor, just take a little bit of weight through the chair now, just lean forwards. But make sure you're not going anywhere so that knee doesn't sit any further forward than your toe. If that is the case, then just step that front leg forward slightly and just lean into the chair slightly. So you're just increasing that stretch through the back of the calf. Good. You're going to feel it through the Achilles as well, okay? So the muscle we're stretching right now is the gastrocnemius, the muscle that actually sits on the sort of the inside and outside of the calf. It's got 2 heads to it, okay? We're now going to stretch out the soleus. Now the soleus muscle is the muscle that sits on the inside of the calf, and we forget this quite a bit. So what I want you to do, I want you to lift up that back heel, okay? Again, standing up nice and straight, relax the shoulders, and what I want you to do, I want you to just sort of sit down into it. Okay, just bending that, so the foot is, I'm hoping you can see that my heel is lifted, and we're sitting down to it. Now you're also going to feel a little bit of a stretch through the front of the thigh, but from here we're just sitting down into it, okay? And then once we're in this position, I want you to just stretch, so press the heel back. So that knee's slightly bent, and I want you to press that heel back. So that's going to just stretch out that soleus muscle just a little bit more. So you might not be able to get that heel on the floor, but the knee is bent, okay, and you're now trying to press that heel into the mat, or into the floor. Again, sitting up nice and tall. Keep breathing. Good. And just lift up out of that movement And just give the legs a bit of a stretch and a bit of a shake. Let's change sides. So we're going to press one foot forward. So one leg, the opposite leg's going to go forwards. Step that leg behind. Good. Make sure, just look down towards your feet. Make sure your feet are parallel. Again, if you are unable to do this standing, you're going to sit down and you're just going to extend the leg out in front of you and just pull that toe in towards you. That's going to feel that stretch. If you need a towel or if you need something to assist with that stretch, you can place a towel over the ball of the foot and pull that towel towards you, so you're feeling that stretch through the back of the calf. So that's your alternative. So again, feet are parallel, just lean into that front leg. If you need to step this leg forward slightly, but just find your positioning to start with, so you're nice and tall to start with, and then just slightly lean forwards. That's just going to increase that stretch through the back of the legs, or through the back of the rear leg. Again, keep the shoulders nice and relaxed. Pull the belly in. Good. Just take it forward just a little bit more if you can. Just make sure you can still see your toe at the front. Okay, now lift up that back heel. Press the knee down so you're sitting downwards into it. Okay, so again, you're going to feel that stretch through. We're going to do this stretch again in a moment. But I want you to focus now, just pressing that heel back. So you've got that bent knee, but you're now pressing that heel back. So the heel may not go all the way back to the floor. That's absolutely fine. But you're feeling that stretch through the inside of the calf. Good. Again, keep the head, shoulders lifted, relax the shoulders. Okay, and bring it back into centre. Now we are going to do those soleus muscles again, okay, give you an alternative. So feet are together, okay, and all I want you to do is just send, so you're almost doing a squat, but you're not doing a squat, okay. All I want you to do is just sit the bottom down. Okay, so if you're doing this seated, again, like the quad, the gastrocnemius stretch, where you're just putting the toe in, if you do that stretch again with a slightly bent knee, that will give you that seated position as well. So we're literally just holding that. So you should just about see your toes. The weight's going through the heels. You're just bending those knees. And you should feel that stretch. You're going to feel the legs warming up a little bit as well. But you should feel that stretch through the inside of the calves. Good. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed and chest lifted. Good. Again, balance. Using the chair just to balance. Good. And just press up. Calves and Achilles. So Achilles, yeah, being the big tendon down the back of the leg. Okay. We're going to turn and hold on to the chair here. So we're just going to do a little bit of a side stretch now before we go on to do a little bit more leg work. We're going to take one arm up towards the ceiling. Using the chair, I want you to push the hips away from the chair and stretch over. Now try and keep the feet flat on the floor. So try not to twist the feet. Try and keep the feet flat on the floor, relax the shoulders, and you're pushing those hips away. So actually physically try to create, so you're trying to push the hips away from the chair, use the chair to balance on, and make sure that that arm goes directly over your ear. Good. And lift back up nice and tall. Good. Now just face the chair. Just step out a little bit so that your bottom sticks out just a little bit here, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. So you're taking the weight through the chair. Now I want you to flatten out that back and try and press the bottom away. Now keeping the hands, forearms onto that chair. Drop the head down so the head sits between the arms. Now just soften the knees slightly, and you're going to feel the stretch all the way down through the waist, through the shoulders, through the chest. Now obviously the lower you go, if you can go a little bit lower, so you're just letting that head drop down, again that's going to increase that stretch. Now make sure those knees aren't locked out. They are slightly soft, but the legs are straight. Again, only take this to a position that you feel is comfortable for you. If you find that coming into the position that I'm holding right now is too much, you can't take the head weight, or it's too much through the shoulders, then lift back up and just hold it here. But I want you to really press the tailbone away. So push the tailbone. You're going to feel that stretch down the back of the hamstrings, through the buttocks, as well as through the lower back and the waist, the shoulders, everything basically. But obviously the lower you go down, the more you're going to increase that stretch through the shoulders, through the lower back and the hamstrings. So just hold that position here. Now what I want you to do, I want you to tuck the tailbone under. So pull the belly in towards the spine, tuck the tailbone under, and I want you to round the spine. So we're coming up into almost a cat stretch. So we're pressing that belly up. Feel the stretch and release it. Release. So allow the body to stretch out again. So nice straight back. Pull the belly in towards the spine. And again, pull the belly up and allow the tailbone to tuck under. Drop the chin down towards the chest. Just watch the weight through the chair. Good. Creating that nice C curve through the spine. Good. And release it. Good. Hold it there. One more stretch in this position. Good. And then we're going to curl ourselves up. So from here, you may just have to adjust the hands. We're going to roll ourselves up. We're going to allow the spine to restack and relax the shoulders and just step back into the chair when you can, allowing that head to come up nice and slow. Okay. So we're going to do the other side. So holding onto the chair with one hand, we're going to lift up through the arm. We're going to soften the knees. We're pushing that waist away and we're taking that arm over the top. So again, just take the weight through the chair just to support you. Make sure your shoulders are stacked one on top of the other, okay? So again, hold the chair in any position you like, just as long as you have that stability. Make sure your feet are equal on the floor. So you're not lifting up a toe, you're not lifting up your the side of the foot, the inside of the foot. Relax the shoulders, so pull the shoulders away from the ears, good. Try and push those hips away just a little bit more. Good. And come back up into standing. Okay. Staying in this position, we're going to grab hold of one ankle. Okay. And we're going to do a nice quad stretch. So we're going to place the heel into the bottom. Try and make sure the knees are together. Okay, knees are together. And we're pushing the hips forward slightly. Okay, so we're not sitting into it, the knee's not doing this, it's staying as close to the knee as you possibly can. Good. What I will say to you, if you can't come into a complete quad stretch like this, hold that stretch just for a moment. You can use the chair and just place the knee onto the chair, okay, hold that position and just push the hips forwards. So the legs bent, okay, and from here you'll just push the hips forwards if you can't bring that heel in towards your bottom. It's not going to give you a full quad stretch, but it'll give you a better quad stretch than none at all, okay, so that's an option. So knee bent, push the hips forwards, okay, if you can't do a quad stretch. Right, okay, release that stretch for me. Very important we hold that stretch for quite some time. Let's change sides, okay, I'm going to turn the chair. And pull the heel in towards the bottom again. So if you're using a chair, place that foot onto, or the flat of the foot onto the chair and push those hips forwards. Now make sure those knees are together, you're sitting up nice and tall, relax the shoulders, push those hips forwards. Good. Feel that stretch all the way down through the front of the thigh into the hip flexors. And release it, take that foot down towards the floor. So I'm going to turn my chair around so the seat is facing me. And I'm going to place one foot on the chair. Sorry if you're a bit OCD, feet on chairs, sorry. Put a cushion or a blanket or a towel or something on it, you'll be fine. Okay, now I just want you to step that leg back behind you. So that leg's up, okay. So with this stretch here, I'm just trying to think of an alternative. There's a couple I know that can't do this one. Go back to, if you do the other stretch where your knees on the chair again, okay, and almost and sort of, I'm just trying to think how else you could change it. Yeah, just press forwards again. So if you're unable to do this one, just place the knee back on the chair and press the hips forwards as we did a moment ago, and that will help. So we're doing the hip flexors a little bit more this time. Okay, just take the movement slightly further forwards if you can. Okay, so foot on the chair. You can use the chair to support you, or you can take the hands down towards the seat. Okay. And I want you to push. Now try, you don't have to keep the heel on the floor behind you. I want you to press forwards into that chair. So you're really feeling that stretch through the front of the thigh. Use the back of the chair if you need to. If you want to place a book or so on the seat of the chair, if you need to be lifted up just a little bit more. Now, what I want you to do from here, lift up that back heel if it's not already lifted, and I want you to push the knee down towards the floor. So you're really feeling that stretch through the front of the hip flexors. Again, take the weight through the chair if you can. Now, as you're holding this leg up on the chair, try and make sure that you can still see your toe. Don't sort of lean forwards over that toe, otherwise you're going to hurt, the knee's going to be under a lot of strain. So again, feeling those hip flexors working. And step back. And change sides. So other foot onto the chair. Leaning in. Now you can lift that back heel if you wish, but really feel the work going on through the front of the thigh into the hip flexors. Good. Lift up that back heel a little bit higher and then just sit down into it. So you're staying upright, unless of course you need to use the chair, and in which case if you do, just again make sure that knee doesn't sit any further forward than your toe. Press that knee down. Good. So this is a really good one for the hips, where we're sitting down for so long. Opens up the hip joint quite considerably. Helps lower back as well. When the hip flexors get very tight, the lower back starts to hurt. Good. Press back into the heel and step back. Okay. One more. All right. So again, using the chair, we're going to place the foot, the front part of the foot, onto the chair. I'm going to stand this way because it's just easier for me. Okay. But again, if you want to stand sideways on, you can hold onto the chair if you need to. I just want you to press just the not quite the toes, but sort of the centre part of the foot, the mid section of the foot, the front of it, onto the chair. So the knee's bent. So we're here. Okay, and I just want you to press into that chair. Press down, press that foot into the chair. Now that's stretching out the front of the shin area, front of the leg, front of the lower leg. Again, sitting up nice and tall. If you want to just increase it slightly, just come towards the end of the foot, so you're coming towards the toe area, and that just helps to increase that stretch slightly. Good. Soften that supporting leg. Again, if you need to hold on to the chair or something else, then please do. Good. And release that down. Other side. So again, placing the centre part of the foot onto the chair. Just make sure your stance is supporting you. Good. And press into the chair for me. Good. So just place, you're not actually leaning into the chair, you're placing pressure through the foot into the seat of the chair. Now bring that foot forward slightly so that it's the toes that are almost, or just the bottom section of the toes, just pressing into the chair. So you're really feeling that stretch across the front of the shin. Good. And release it. Excellent. Take a seat. Take a seat. Okay. If you can't do this exercise, what I would suggest is you send the leg out to the side and stretch forward. So that's your alternative if you can't do this stretch. It's going to stretch the inside thigh, but it will help to stretch the buttock as well. Okay. You haven't got the twist, and I know that some of you, one or two of you may not be able to get that twist in. But if you can, place the ankle onto the knee here. Okay, so this is piriformis, this is buttock stretch. Okay, and just lean forwards. Now if you don't want to take the leg out to the side, you can just lean forwards if you wish. Okay. So just placing the ankle onto that knee, sitting up nice and tall, just pull the chest towards the shin. Good. And sitting up nice and tall. Change size. I said earlier that was the last one, wasn't I? I lied. This is our last one. You know me. There's always a couple more I could do. I could do this forever. Okay, place the ankle onto the knee, sitting up nice and tall. Good. Slide the shoulder blades down the back of the body and lean into it. So again, if you can't do this stretch, you can either place the feet on the floor and just lean over if you want. Okay, still going to get a bit of a buttock stretch, but the idea is that we're trying to twist the knee. Okay, to try and twist it out. So by holding that leg out here, it just creates a little bit of a twist, and it starts to pull the leg in, so you're feeling that stretch as you come down as well. Okay. So again, if not, hold that position here. Sitting up nice and tall. Good. Release that down. Feet on the floor. I know you can't see my feet because the camera angle's not right, but just pedal through the feet. So pick each heel up one at a time. So go back to those heel pedals, pushing up through those toes. Good. And bring both feet up at the same time. Both heels up. Good. And again, keeping the back nice and straight. Good. Excellent. And take the heels down. Take a breath in and out. And again in and out. And thank you very much, ladies.